Alright guys, welcome to Programming for Beginners. It's our first tutorial here and we're going to show you how to create an interactive program today that your user will be able to punch in some sort of input and you'll be able to manipulate it and return it back to them any way you like. So to do that, first we're going to open up and we'll see our interpreter will pop up here. To open a new file like you see on the left here, which is where you can store our computer recipes essentially. You're going to have to go to File and hit New File or Command N if you're using a Mac. Alright, so just to show you some of the built-in functions that Python already has installed, we can use two of them that we're going to use today and you'll use extensively in any type of coding that you do. We're going to go print, open parenthesis, and we're going to go ahead and programming fashion, and our first program will say hello world, and in the interpreter we can go ahead and just click enter and instantly we'll see that it will print back to us. So in the interpreter we're feeding commands that are going to be executed instantly. Another built-in function that we can use is called input, and we can say what would you like to say. Again, close the parenthesis, and this is going to be able to save whatever we respond to it, okay? So as you can see, it'll pop up, but our cursor will still be here. It has not reset. The chevrons haven't come down because it's waiting for a response for us. And the interpreter, as you can see up here, when you see asterisks next to the header, you know that your program is still running. So this won't stop executing until we respond with anything. And we can say Ralphie. Okay, so it accepted our input, whatever we typed in there. Now this is going to be important to you, not necessarily because you're can type in one line in the interpreter here, but you're going to be eventually want to able to collect information from your users. You'll see this in any app, anything that you use really with technology. Logging into an account, for instance, you need to be able to type in a text field, and that program needs to be able to check to see if your username is okay to go ahead, or a password. So we're going to do a little bit of that today. So go ahead and open up a new file over here. You can call it whatever you like. And our first thing we're going to do is say print hello. So we'll go ahead and just print a greeting to the console, and then we can go ahead and say we can ask the user for their input. But this is going to bring us to something called the variables, and you might have heard of variables before, in one of your math classes way back when, or something like that. But a variable is really just a way of saying it's a jar that's holding some sort of value for us, right? And we can give it any label we want at our choosing, following some of the Python rules, but pretty much we can name it whatever we want. And a good convention to use is to name it something that is similar to the type of value it's holding. So if you're asking for a user for their name, you should call your variable name. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now, and we're going to type name equals input, right? This is going to go ahead and ask our user for something, and we need it to say, what is your name? So whatever you type out inside of input will be what the computer says to your user, asking them for something, okay? And then we can print that back out to our user and say your name is, and then we're going to go quotes, right? So that's going to be our string, which is a fancy way of saying text. And now we want to print a variable, and so in the same line we go comma, no quotations, so that Python knows this is the variable. And this should return to our user, your name is whatever they entered into the computer, okay? And so this text file over here, a Python file, is just some instructions telling the computer what to do. At first, we tell it, print to the screen, hello. Ask the user what their name is by printing to the screen, what is your name? Then print to the screen, your name is whatever our user entered. So we'll go ahead and run that and see how it works. Great, and it says, hello, what is your name? And it's still running, and it will keep running until we hit enter. And so we're going to give it our name, and we're going to say Jim, and we're going to click enter. And as you can see, with quotations, it prints back out your name is Jim. You probably won't see it with quotations if you're using a newer version of Python, or parentheses rather. But regardless, it prints out the same thing. Great, so that is our first tutorial in how to create an interactive program. Stay tuned for our second Programming for Beginners tutorial, and we're going to go over some more in-depth stuff, some stuff that you can do that's a little bit more fun with these principles here, and we look forward to seeing with you. Thank you for joining us.